The big story that we're discussing today is the attitude of onlookers, passers-by in the wake of a road accident. Each time we have an accident on the road taking place, unfortunately, we see mute spectators, far too busy recording the incident on their phone instead of pitching in to immediately help the accident victim. Misconceptions surrounding Samaritans in our society, the question that we're asking today on why are people afraid of stepping in and helping an injured person or taking the concerned victim to hospital. Now, this is despite the fact that there is a Supreme Court order. There is also a central law which is called the Good Samaritan law, which protects those who step in the first hour of the accident, the golden hour, to help a victim, to take the victim to hospital or help the injured person. The latest case in point here, this incident that has come in from Karnataka. A man who was left bleeding and helpless for over half an hour in Chikbalapur district after his bike collided with a head-on collision here with a car on National Highway 7. The victim was seen lying on the side of the road, writhing in pain, screaming out for help. Nobody stepped in to help. Nobody came forward. An ambulance reached to the spot much later. The victim now currently undergoing treatment at a government hospital there. Let's get in further details. We have with us our correspondent Srija with those inputs here. Srija, this is yet another unfortunate scenario. Doesn't speak too highly of us as people, forever being reluctant to step in to help.
Well, remember, Seher, it's been almost a year that Karnataka is the first state here in the country to implement the Good Samaritan law. Now, this particular law, as you pointed out, it definitely protects the person who rushes the victim, who met with an accident immediately in that one particular hour, which is called the golden hour. As far as this particular case coming from Chikbalapur district here in Karnataka, we're looking at a situation where a man met with an accident. This is a head-on collision with a bike, between a bike and a car. And you can also look at his leg. He's almost severed his leg. And we are also looking where all the passers-by and the onlookers, just they are mute spectators. They're recording the entire incident, but we do not see a single person step up and then immediately rush him to the hospital. Yes, of course, I'm right now joined in by students of St. Joseph's College here in Bengaluru. Now, let's find out from them what will be their first instinct if they come across an accident. Now, coming to you, if you actually witness an accident right before you, what will be your first instinct there?
I will definitely help the person, because he needs the help.
Okay.
So I call up an ambulance and then, I will help him to
Have you come across any such cases here in Bengaluru where, people have just stood as mute spectators?
well, more like mute spectators. I've seen them, using their phones to take pictures. I personally think that's not right.
Okay.
But, you got to help the person.
Okay.
So, but I've never come across anything like that.
Okay. So Karnataka is the first state to implement this Good Samaritan law. This is to protect the person who immediately rushes the victim so that they don't have to face any legal process at all. So what, in your opinion, do you think that Karnataka government has not done enough to spread this awareness?
I think the government should, take a more initiative of this, because people they can do this traffic thing and all that, but then they don't give us proper roads, and they expect us to pay so much. So if they give us proper roads and everything, I think accidents and all reduces. So yeah.
So what do you think, in your opinion?
All right. Well, Srija, stay on with us. It's nice that we've got some young voices here on this. We're going to be listening into furthermore. But stay with us. Let's get in the state BJP of Karnataka with us on the phone line. Mr. Srinath, thank you for being with us, sir. There is a sense here that despite having specifically for this very purpose, the Good Samaritan law was brought in because people were seen reluctant to help. People were afraid that they would be hounded and troubled by the police with the suspicion of being involved with an accident or further prosecuted. Despite that, when you have a Good Samaritan law especially being brought in for the very purpose to instill that faith in people, to encourage people to step in and help accident victims in the golden hour, not too many people are aware of it. There hasn't been done too much work on ground by the concerned government here to spread the word on the Good Samaritan law.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. From a very, very long time, from my childhood, I remember this was the case that when an accident happens, if you take the victim to the hospital, that later we will have to go to the court, we will have to give we will be witnesses for that, and we will be unnecessarily troubled. This kind of mindset has been brought in, and it is not from today. It is from last 40, 50 years. That is the kind of mindset what everyone has. So the new law needs to penetrate, and on that, a lot of advertisements need to be taken up, and people need to be told that you don't have to be a part of the legal process. You should take the victim for saving him. So this portion, I think we need to give more importance and bring it. It should sink into the minds of the people. That is more important. So the mindset should change. So I think we should take up the activity on this, because I saw this one. It is a very ghastly thing. He immediately required a support, and people did not do it. I think we need to make people realize that there is no legally they are not bound by anything. They can certainly take him to the hospital, leave him there, and go.
That's right. So help us understand the government's role here, and where the government's role at the state level, at the local level, has been lacking, because the central leadership 3 years ago made it very clear that this is a law that is required. The number of accidents that take place on the road, the reluctance from people, it's a matter of shame, but it also comes in from a fear of being hounded and prosecuted here.
Yeah.
The word that needs to be spread by the government as an important role that the government should now be playing as far as getting that information to the people. There are about 80% of people who are still not even aware of this law, that they're protected if they help an accident victim.
Yeah, I think I'll take up this issue with our information department, and every hospital has to display this particular law. There is relaxation, and you need not be worried. Just bring him for the moment. You bring him to the hospital so that he survives and it's good for him, and you don't have to sign any papers. These kind of advertisements also need to come, and it should be visible in all the hospitals, so the trauma centers and others, so that they know that it doesn't happen. They don't have to be responsible for the other things. So I think I will take it up with our state information department also to propagate this. And we need to make people realize this, ma'am. That's the best way. That's the only way. So all kinds of advertising and information system should be operated for this.
Yes, please stay with us. Getting in a voice from traffic expert Mr. Jitendra Gupta with us on the phone line. Mr. Gupta, thank you for being with us. To what extent this is a failing? This is a failing of the people and also of the government in not being able to spread the word that if you're stepping in, and specifically in the golden hour, which is hugely crucial to the life of an accident victim, you're stepping in to help, you will be protected, you will be rewarded. This is the basic that one could understand and do on moral grounds as well.
See, basically, government has, Nitin Gadkari has been talking quite a big thing when he was promoting this amendment. But he never made any attempt to bring awareness in the people, like about this new change that they have made in law. This law was already there. The Supreme Court order has already been there before this law came into existence, that nobody should be questioned who is bringing accident victim to the hospital. It's already a Supreme Court judgment some years back. But even the local police station is troubling people who are bringing their own family member to the hospital. I had experiences in my case. My local police station was questioning me, that even though the victim's statement was there. He says that the CP has given them the circular. I said the CP is above the Supreme Court. That after that only he kept quiet. So this is the lack of awareness in general public, as well as maybe for different other reasons they are troubling people by questioning, and that's why people don't take the accident victim to the hospital. So it's the duty of the government to create awareness by newspaper advertisement, as well as by putting signs on highways and roads, so that people become aware that this accident spot, if somebody has fallen, you can take him to the hospital and you won't be troubled. This is the duty of the government to create awareness.
That's right. Mr. Gupta, you think that there should be... Absolutely. Mr. Gupta, in your view, this was a good decision, a good step forward taken by the government of India, but it's futile if it's not showing its results on ground. It's futile if it's not instilling that confidence in people.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, already the law was there. Now they have brought it on book. It's good whatever they have done, because Supreme Court judgment itself is a law for the nation. So that was already existing. Now he has incorporated into an amendment. That's a good thing. But where is the implementation? They have not taken any action in last 1 month that has passed after implementing of this act to create awareness about it. There's not a single advertisement I've seen in the newspaper. They already know which are the accident spots on every highway and every road. They could have put those awareness signs on those accident sites. That they have not bothered.
All right, Mr. Srinath, please respond to that. Right, Mr. Gupta, we get your point. Mr. Srinath, if you heard that, please respond to that. The vehemence with which we've seen the new Motor Vehicles Act being spoken about, being implemented, being advertised, there should be as much force here as far as spreading the word on the Good Samaritan law is concerned, because with the same purpose, the purpose of the new Motor Vehicles Act is to avoid accidents, to avoid traffic violations, to save lives. Equally, with the same purpose is the existence of the Good Samaritan law, to save lives.
In continuation with whatever the amendment Mr. Gadkari brought, recently he brought in a major change in the motor vehicle traffic fines and various changes in that particular law. And this was brought in with an idea that because the people dying on road accidents were quite high, and that number had to reduce, and to create the awareness in a different way, he tried his best to bring in very huge fines so that people realize that they have to wear a helmet. The fine was much costlier than the helmet, much more than the helmet. So these things were, we are trying to make a positive move towards this, because these things are not, socially it is not good people dying on road. And if they flout the rule and do it, it becomes a problem. So to make them follow the rules, a lot of laws are being brought in. I think...
Mr. Srinath, this is not just about people. This is not just about the Aam Janta. This is also about the police not being informed. The police goes ahead with the same scrutiny with respect to the person who's helped an accident victim. Why is the police not informed?
See, there are two things in that. When you go and admit a person, if it is a medical legal case, even hospitals react in a different way. It is not only the police. So the whole segment of police, hospital, and the person on the road who is a Samaritan has to realize the effect of this. And even the hospitals, medical legal cases, quite a few hospitals refuse to take many times. Even today it is happening. So I think there should be we should...
Yes, so that is exactly what I'm asking you, sir. Why is it happening? Where are we failing despite the good intent? Despite wanting to help an accident victim, instilling confidence in spectators and onlookers that you won't be troubled if you step in to help an accident victim. We're looking at 3 years. This is something which was brought about in March 2016. We're looking at 3 years and we are still standing in the same boat. Let's get in a word here from Ms. Pramila Nasargi with us on the phone line, activist and lawyer. We appreciate you being with us, ma'am. This seems to be a major struggle. Just to have someone budge, step in and help an accident victim seems to be a huge task.
See, what's happened is we make the laws, but we don't make the people know about the laws. The legal awareness is one of the things that should have been undertaken by the legal service authority or for that matter government. We have the law department, we have social welfare department, we have various departments wherein these things could be highlighted and shown. Especially when we have the modern technology and the TVs are available, one day program could be given to apprise the people that this is a law that has been brought. You can't be a silent spectator when an accident takes place.
That's right.
If you are a silent spectator, the action will be taken against you also. This is the law. That they don't. Ignorance of
it's a job of the government. It's a job of the cop, the traffic police to be telling people about this? Let's get in a word here from former traffic cop, Dr. Pasricha, with us on the phone line. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Pasricha. In your view, how can this be brought about? Because we're also looking at a scenario where even the local police station, the local cops are not informed of this. They would go ahead with equal scrutiny in questioning someone who stepped in to help an accident victim.
Well, first let me say it's a national shame. The incident that has been mentioned is a real national shame. And most people must understand that,
Right.
we are under the wrong belief that accidents always happen to others till that tragedy, strikes our backyard. And this is very important that accident can happen to anybody, any of our people. If today we are ignoring someone, then tomorrow we might need succor and nobody may come forward. They may be more busy in taking the WhatsApp video. And the first hour after the accident is called golden hour, when it's internationally proved
Yes.
that we can reach
Absolutely.
succor in the first 1 hour, then 82% lives can be saved. 82% lives can be saved. It's internationally proved. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
people don't understand.
Dr. Pasricha, you're calling this a national shame here. Yes, and you don't understand why the government, why the concerned local police is not spreading the word here. We have evolved Supreme Court guidelines on this. We have the Good Samaritan law, which was brought in by the government in 2016, which equal vehemence here that accident victims in the golden hour need to be helped, need to be rescued by passers-by and spectate, and not just be mute spectators. Unfortunately, 3 years down the line, we're still looking at a scenario, the case in point in Karnataka, where an accident victim was bleeding on the road, crying out for help for half an hour. And yet, hugely shameful for each one of us that no one stepped in to help. He was taken to the hospital only after the ambulance arrived. This is also a question of us losing our moral compass, not just a question of not being aware of the Good Samaritan law. We really don't need a law to act as Good Samaritans. Find your voice, pitch in, help people when required. Thank you for being with us.